Welcome back on the channel. Today we are continuing our divisional positional tier list. If it doesn't make sense to you, I gotcha. We're talking about the NFC North today. So the four teams, Packers, Lions, Vikings, and Bears. We're going to be ranking each team by their positional group. Of course, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, defense, and head coach is where we are going to be ranking today. We're starting, of course, with the quarterback position. My number one quarterback in the NFC North is none other than Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff has been really, really solid the past couple of years. You could attribute some of that success to Ben Johnson and the cast around him. But in this NFC North, I think he has been the clear-cut number one guy. Safe. You know what you're going to get with him. 4,000 passing yards. He's going to lead a top 5 offense in the sport. Top 10 maybe this year without Ben Johnson, but they're still going to be really, really good. Jared Goff has been the most successful quarterback in this division over the last few years as well. Won the division last year, won 15 games, feels like a shoo-in. I got Jordan Love at my number 2 spot here. And I think Jordan Love is a good shout here because he has really high-end potential in terms of what his ceiling is as a quarterback. I think he could certainly pass Jared Goff in terms of athletics, arm strength, the ability to throw on the run, the ability to extend plays. All of those things are better than Goff. I just haven't seen him put it together yet. And what scares me is he's almost a lock for a turnover a game. I got Caleb Williams at 3 at this point in time. I think Caleb has the highest ceiling of all the quarterbacks in this division. There's a reason he was the number 1 overall pick. There's a reason his NFL comp was Patrick Mahomes. And I am willing to give him a pass for the performance last year, but I got to see it to believe it with an improved offensive line, an improved weapons core, and Ben Johnson now at head coach. And then obviously last, JJ McCarthy. It's no shade at JJ, but literally haven't seen him play a single snap of NFL football. So for me to put him over any of these quarterbacks would just be a little silly at this point in time. We get to the running back room, and I think no doubt, again, no surprise, I have the Detroit Lions here at number 1. Jahmyr Gibbs, I do think is the best running back in the division. So even if we were just doing RB ones, it'd be the Lions, but RB rooms with David Montgomery, it's not even close. It's the best running back room in the NFL. The Sonic and Knuckles tandem is just absolutely outstanding. I will put Josh Jacobs in at the number 2 spot here. I think Jacobs is a really, really impressive runner. I think that he has the ability to carry offense, at least the offense for some period of time. We saw it when Malik Willis had to start those 2 games. Josh Jacobs really put a lot on his back. I like Marshawn Lloyd. I like Emmanuel Wilson as well behind him. I'm going to take Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Sneaky, really good running back tandem here. Aaron Jones, as he gets older, there's some questions in terms of his health, how long, he'll be able to stay out there, how effective can he be. Jordan Mason as a supplement back for him is a really, really good spot. I think a lot of people forget Jordan Mason last year through like the first month and a half, 2 months of the season was a top 5 rusher in football. And then I got DeAndre Swift, Roschon Johnson tandem in last. I used to be a massive believer in DeAndre Swift. We saw him have a really solid season in Philly, but felt like anybody could have a really solid season behind that offensive line. Maybe we'll see more out of him this year with Ben Johnson, but the Bears are firmly in last in terms of running back. When we get to the wide receiver room, no shocker here. Minnesota, number 1. Justin Jefferson is a top 2 wide receiver in the sport. I really like the big play ability of Jordan Addison, and I'm going to glaze Jefferson for a minute here. The guy is just so unreal. Last year, throughout the majority of the season, when it was him versus Chase for the best wide receiver in football, it was just whoever I saw more recently play was the guy that I was rolling with. I don't think there's a football that Justin Jefferson can't catch, a la that catch versus the Buffalo Bills. He is on a Hall of Fame trajectory already. He's kind of LeBron-esque in the sense of he's the youngest to do this, etc. Jefferson's that guy, but I also do love Addison, and Jalen Nailor I think is a pretty underrated player. I got the Lions here in second. Amon-Ra St. Brown I have as a top 7 wide receiver in the sport. You can call him a slot merchant if you want, but he's damn good as being a slot wide receiver, and he absolutely eats. Jamison Williams, I think he could, have another breakout-esque year, another 1,000-yard season. The guy is an absolute speedster, and as Tyreek Hill slows down, is he the most explosive wide receiver in football? You could certainly make that case. And then Tim Patrick as their 3, he's a solid piece for sure. Then I got the Chicago Bears, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden. DJ Moore, underrated player, fringe top 10 guy, top 15-ish guy for sure. Hopefully we see a little bit better attitude out of him next year. I mean, the Bears situation, I'm kind of willing to just give everybody a pass. Rome Odunze was a top 10 pick in the draft 2 years ago. Again, willing to give him a pass, but we'll see. I like the potential there. And Luther Burden as your wide receiver 3 feels like a guy that could be a real game breaker. In certain spots. And then the Green Bay Packers, I have as 4th here. Matthew Golden, who they just drafted, should be a field stretcher. I like Jaden Reed. I like Romeo Dobbs. Even Dontavian Wicks is fine, but I still don't know if this team has a true wide receiver 1, whereas I feel like Jefferson, Amon-Ra, DJ Moore are those guys. And I even think that is Addison, Jameson Williams, and maybe not Rome at this point, but Addison and Jameson Williams could probably be the wide receiver 1 on Green Bay at this point in time. Just something that the Packers have kind of struggled with in recent years since the departure of Devontae Adams. We get to the tight ends now, and I'm going to take the Vikings here in first as well. TJ Hawkinson, I think, coming off of another year removed from the ACL injury, is an absolute primetime player, a beast, a vertical threat. He could run any route. He's a decent blocker as well. You pair him with Josh Oliver, and that is a really, really successful tight end room. Again, the weapons in the passing game that JJ McCarthy is going to have at his disposal, I mean, that's just really great. Then give me the Lions here. Laporta, a massive red zone threat in that game versus Washington in the divisional round that they lost. He had a really, really nice one-handed snag. Brock Wright as well as another solid backup tight end there. So 2 solid 2 tight end sets here. And we got a third with the Chicago Bears here. My bad. We got a third here with the Chicago Bears here. Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet, both really solid. I question a little bit them as blockers, but in terms of what they are, in terms of vertical threats and big playability, I love them there. And then I'm going to go Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave. If you want to flip-flop these two, I'm not too mad about it. Just me, I believe in the potential of Loveland at a really high level, and I think he's going to succeed a ton in that Ben Johnson offense. So a little bit of a projection here. So if you're mad at me for that and you want to switch at Packers fans, so be it. I'm not going to argue with you on it. I think Tucker Kraft is one of the more underrated tight ends in the sport, and Luke Musgrave, he's solid. Offensive lines, this may be a bit controversial, but give me Minnesota as the #1 offensive line in this division with the Frank Ragnow retiring, and plus Minnesota's additions, right? They bring in Ryan Kelly. They bring in Will Fries. They draft a guy in the first round this year. You have a Christian Darrisaw. Like, this is a very, very complete offensive line. From left tackle all the way over to right tackle. Should be one of the better ones in football. I think top 5 isn't unreasonable. I'm going to put Detroit at 2, but I have my doubts, right? You lose Frank Ragnow, who I think not only obviously is an all-pro caliber center who retires before the age of 30, but what he was in their run game, what he was able to do, I think I want to word this properly because I don't want to sound like I'm taking a shot at the Lions offensive line, because that's not what I'm trying to do. But I think what he did for them in the run game inflated what the guards may have looked like as it lessened their responsibilities. Going from a Frank Ragnow at center to either a Tate Ratledge or whoever they go with, it's going to be a drop off in play, and then the guards are going to have to make up for that. I'm not sure if they're able to. Penei Sewell, I think you can make the case, is the best offensive lineman in football, and I wouldn't hate you for that. So I mean, I'm still going to have them up here at number 2. I'm going to have the Packers at 3. The Packers always have a really solid offensive line. They were really well graded per Pro Football Sports Network last year. I believe they were 8th. They bring in Aaron Glenn from the 49ers. They sign him at guard to a big extension. And, the Packers, if there's one thing that they do always get right, it is that offensive line. And then I'm going to put the Bears here. Listen, I think that the Bears made some real improvements. They, completely revamped their interior offensive line and brought in some veteran players, and I think they will play better. I just think they're in a division with some really good offensive lines, if I'm being honest. We now move to the defense, and again, Minnesota's streak of winning here is going to keep on continuing. I'm high on Minnesota, guys, and you're starting to see it in this positional tier list. This Brian Flores-led defense is absolutely astonishing, and the disguise looks they give you, the weird packages, that they are really, really tricky to go up against. And they have some really, really talented players too. The pass rushing duo of Grenard and Dallas Turner, I think, could make the leap to being top 5 this year. They brought in Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave on that defensive line. You have an Andrew Van Ginkel, who is an absolute beast of a football player. You are really, really loaded. You brought in Isaiah Rodgers, a move that I really, really liked for this team. The Vikings defense is really, really solid. I'm a big fan of everything they got going on there. Number 2, things get a little tricky here. Again, I'm debating between the Packers and the Lions. I'm going to give the edge to the Lions when healthy. I think that their defense struggled a lot without Aiden Hutchinson. I wish they would have brought in another pass rusher to play alongside him and not let Zadarius Smith go. But I do, again, still, it's so close. I'm going to actually give the Packers the edge because they lost Carlton Davis. They lost Zadarius Smith. I still think there's some really fun, really young talent, in an Aiden Hutchinson, in a Jack Campbell, in a Brian Branch. I love Kirby Joseph, but I'm going to give the slight lean to the Packers here. I like their pass rush overall more. Rashawn Gary, Van Ness, Kenny Clark on that defensive line. It's a really, really solid group. I like Ajirian Cooper. I like Quay Walker. I like Xavier McKinney. They brought in Nate Hobbs. So, despite losing Jair Alexander, I still think the Packers have the second best defense. Then I'll put the Lions at third here. And the Bears, listen, I like some of their pieces. Montez Sweat's cool. Edmonds at linebacker. Jalen Johnson. Byard at safety's fine. I don't think by any means it's a bad defense. It feels like it's close to middle of the pack. But again, there's a reason that this NFC North is one of the best divisions in football, man. We then move to the head coach rankings. I think I'm going to get some pushback here. I'm going Kevin O'Connell 1, and I get it. We haven't seen him perform in playoff games at this point in time. So if that's your big gripe on him, I get it. But he's the reigning coach of the year for a reason. We've seen him lead, top 10, top 5 level offenses with Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold at the helm. Similar to Kyle Shanahan, I'm going to give a lot of that credit to Kevin O'Connell. Number 2, I have Matt LaFleur. I think Matt LaFleur is a great head coach. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's done, consistently being a playoff level caliber coach while going through a quarterback change, while dealing with an Aaron Rodgers, to bringing in a Jordan Love and getting him acclimated, to winning games with a Malik Willis last year in a division where you had to win those games to be a playoff team. Matt LaFleur is really, really solid. I got Dan Campbell at 3, and, obviously he's in the bottom half of this list. I don't want people to take that as shade. I still think Dan Campbell is a top 10 level a top 10 level head coach in football. But, I question what he is without Aaron Glenn and without Ben Johnson. We're going to find out this year. There's no doubt he's a great leader in the locker room. Being a CEO head coach, I do have my questions and marks about you. And 2 years ago, man, he cost him that NFC championship. I don't want to just sweep that under the rug. Dan Campbell's coaching decisions cost the Lions a shot to go to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, where if they played the Chiefs, they'd beaten them in the regular season already. And then Ben Johnson, unproven. Do I think he has a shot to move up this list? Absolutely. When you look at it, you could see I'm clearly very high on Minnesota. I'm clearly pretty high on Detroit. And then Green Bay and Chicago, I think, will be battling for third in this division. And it'll really depend on Caleb Williams' play and Ben Johnson's head coaching to how far Chicago moves up, right? And if JJ McCarthy can move up this quarterback list, Minnesota, man, they're going to stay a very, very dangerous team. But those are just my thoughts. Be sure to let me know yours in the comment section down below. We're going to continue this series throughout the month of July. If you love football and you're not yet subscribed to this channel, smash that button. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.